Hey everyone, welcome back to the FU Cancer podcast, where we tackle tough topics in cancer prevention, treatment, and survivorship. Joining me today is registered dietitian nutritionist Wendy Kaplan, an expert in oncology nutrition who has spent years helping patients and families navigate diet and cancer risk. She earned her Master of Science degree in Nutrition and Food Studies from New York University and is licensed in the state of New York. She's also board certified as a specialist in oncology nutrition and a board certified diabetes care and education specialist. She holds a certificate in cancer survivorship from Harvard University and a certificate in leadership in oncology navigation from the American Cancer Society. Wendy has over 20 years of experience as a registered dietitian and holds a variety of experiences, including management, acute care, oncology, and primary care outpatient nutrition. And most recently, Wendy served as a reviewer for the chapter Consequences of Cancer in the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics new edition of Nutrition Care in the Older Adult, 4th edition. Wendy has been a speaker at several oncology conferences and support groups and is also frequently quoted in online and print media for national publications including Cancer Today, Women's Health Online, NBC News, HuffPost, HGTV, Eating Well, and others. She currently serves as a media representative for the New York State Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics and is passionate about collaborating with her team to provide patients with an individualized plan for nutrition and healthy living. Thanks for listening to the FU Cancer podcast. My name is Christina Rollins. I'm a dietitian, mom, and wife to a pretty awesome cancer survivor. We said FU to cancer nearly 25 years ago and are still going strong. I'm excited to share the FU Cancer movement, where we are a community of survivors, fighters, caregivers, and advocates, connecting our shared experiences, passion, and determination to live a holistic and well-balanced life. Stay tuned, because we've got a lot to talk about. Well, Wendy, thank you so much for joining us today on the FU Cancer podcast.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Christina. I've listened to your other ones and they're amazing and such an incredible lineup. I'm honored to have been asked.
You. So let's start with the science. How exactly does alcohol increase an individual's cancer risk?
Okay, that's a great question and truly the perfect place to start. So, when we talk about the link between alcohol and cancer, it's important to understand how it's processed in the body. It gets broken down into a substance called acetaldehyde, and that is a carcinogen, so something that causes cancer. And at high levels, it's very toxic and therefore could damage DNA, leading to uncontrolled tumor growth and tumor formation. So that's one way. But drinking alcohol also, it could generate free radicals, which could cause chronic inflammation, also leading to DNA damage. Drinking alcohol also can alter hormones, so specifically estrogen, fueling the development for breast cancer. And it also serves as a vehicle for transporting other carcinogens to cells. So there are a bunch of ways and studied mechanisms that it can contribute to causing cancer.
So, what types of cancer specifically are the most strongly linked to alcohol consumption?
Okay, so there are 7 cancers that are strongly linked to alcohol consumption. They are breast cancer in women, colorectal cancer, esophageal cancer, liver cancer, um, any of the like the mouth or oral cavity cancers. So also throat cancer and voice box, which is larynx. So those are the 7 definitive with the most solid research, but there are other areas where research is emerging. For example, like skin cancer, prostate cancer, pancreatic cancer, and stomach cancer as well.
So, is there a safe level of alcohol consumption when it comes to cancer risk, or is anything we drink considered harmful?
The short answer is really no. This comes actually straight out of the Surgeon General's advisory report that came out this year, 2025. There is no safe level for certain cancers. So evidence also shows that even one or fewer drinks could raise cancer risk.
Well, Wendy, a lot of people justify drinking alcohol by pointing to the supposed health benefits of red wine. Can you explain why that may be a little bit misleading when it comes to cancer risk?
Sure. I will say I get asked that a lot. I do a lot of
Mhm.
presentations, and people say, well, what about red wine? That's good for you. That's good for your heart. Um, I know in past years, it has been touted as having heart health benefits, protective of coronary heart disease. Um, and this is because of a phytochemical that it contains called resveratrol. And just to explain a little bit about what a phytochemical is, phytochemicals are healthful components found in plant foods. So they protect plants from the weather, the elements, insects, and when we eat them, we get those health benefits as well. So we want that. We want to eat a lot of plant foods to get these phytochemicals. So again, this resveratrol is in the red wine. However, drinking too much of any wine, whether it's red wine, white wine, or another alcohol, can have harmful effects. It could raise your blood triglycerides, um, as well as negatively affect heart health. So, would I recommend drinking red wine to get this one phytochemical? No, and nor would the American Heart Association. Um, but I do have good news. You can eat certain foods like peanuts, grapes, apples, berries, um, which also have this resveratrol. So that's what I would suggest instead. So eat your plant foods.
Yeah, it's not the benefits not just limited to wine. We have other options we can choose from that may be
Exactly.
safer. Yep.
Exactly.
What are some of the biggest misconceptions in your experience people have when it comes to alcohol and cancer risk?
Um, I think not necessarily a misconception, but I think that people are really unaware of the serious health consequences
Mhm.
alcohol has and the effects that it just has on our health. Again, according to the Surgeon General's advisory report just released this year, 2025, it states that alcohol is the number one preventable um, leading cause of cancer. So there are about 20,000 deaths each year from alcohol. Yet there's still like a huge gap in public understanding this risk. Like there have been studies where less than half of Americans don't know that alcohol increases cancer risk.
If someone is concerned about their risk, so that, they hear what you're saying, they are concerned, but they're
Mhm.
just not quite ready to give up alcohol entirely, what steps can be taken to reduce that harm level?
Okay, so there's always like good news tucked away. I think there are a lot of steps that you could take. I mean, you do want to cut down. So maybe make a little spritzer, take an ounce of alcohol, like mix it with seltzer or a flavored seltzer. Um, I would also like experiment with mocktails. And, they're a fun alternative to cocktails. And I think a lot has to do with like the experience. We want that experience of like enjoying a drink, having something
Mhm.
tasty. So you could take fruit, you could take herbs, you could take spices, sparkling water, mix things together and make like a tasty drink without alcohol. So, again, it's all about the experience. You want something aesthetically appealing. Um, use you know, bar garnishes, like get dehydrated fruit, get rose petals. You can make things really pretty. Put it in a highball glass or a whiskey glass or a wine glass. And, like you walk around, you're social and you're enjoying this drink. And what I will say, and I've taken note lately. I actually just got back from a trip to Austin where I had a lot of nice dinners. And I noticed on the menu, I swear this is trending, they have a zero proof cocktail section
Mhm.
mixed in with the cocktails. So, I mean, I think that's great. So you can enjoy a fun, tasty drink without the alcohol.
It's funny you say that. A few years ago, we threw a party for my mother's 70th birthday, and we had an open bar, but the kids wanted a mocktail. So the bartender actually really quickly whipped up this mocktail with different juices and grenadine, and it was really pretty. It looked like a little sunset drink. And before we knew it, all of the adults were going and getting it too because it was just so much fun. And they put it in a cocktail glass and it just looked great. So actually, our alcohol bill was pretty low because everybody was drinking these mocktails and they had a ton of fun
Yeah.
with it.
And experiment away. And it's not just about like a strawberry and mint, a typical combination, which actually is really good. But I've tried thyme, honeydew, mix a lot of different things together.
Yeah.
Just go for a look or color that you want and a taste.
Yeah. And have fun with it.
Exactly.
Well, Wendy, before we wrap up, any final words of advice for our listeners who really want to make informed choices about alcohol and cancer prevention?
Um, yeah, there are definitely a couple of things. I would just be aware also. I mean, when you go to a party, an event, of course you want to have a drink, enjoy life, balance everything
Mhm.
out. But I do think it's important to be aware of portions sizes for alcohol. So just to tell you what's what, a glass of wine would be 5 ounces. So no, if you're going to a restaurant and you order a glass of wine, but you get that waiter that's the heavy pourer, you could wind up with 9 ounces. So something closer to, maybe 2 servings versus one. It would be 12 ounces of regular beer, not craft, but regular, 8 to 9 ounces of a malt liquor, and 1.5 fluid ounces of a spirit. So those are portions. Um, so I do want to also stress eating healthy, eating a lot of plant foods, exercising. These are just steps that we could do to be proactive with our health. And our bodies do have natural defense mechanisms. So it's not to say that if somebody drinks alcohol, you're definitely going to get cancer. I'm sure we all know people that have smoked every day of their lives and never have gotten cancer. Yet people also lead a healthy diet and lifestyle and may have gotten cancer. So there are so many factors, but I do think it's important to be as proactive as we can. Eat those plant foods, get those phytochemicals so our bodies have more of these defense systems to potentially ward off any harm.
Well, Wendy, thank you so much for breaking this topic down for us today. It's always a pleasure to chat with you, and I really appreciate your willingness to share your expertise in this area.
Absolutely. Thank you again. I appreciate you having me.
And listeners, thank you again for tuning in. If you found this episode helpful, please be sure to subscribe, like it, share with a friend, and be sure to visit our website at fucancer.health. We have a lot of information on cancer care curated by cancer care experts, so check it out today. Until next time, I'm Christina Rollins. Thanks so much for listening.